Pride in remembering that former President Nelson Mandela was a member of Convocation of the University of Cape Town. Convocation being the body which unites all the alumni, all the thousands of alumni all over the world of UCT. This was the first South African university to invite Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela to receive an honorary doctorate of laws, an invitation that was extended to him while he was still a prisoner. And so he joined the thousands of Convocation members when this university conferred the degree on the 30th of November 1990, 23 years ago. The ceremony was a wonderful occasion, as the Vice-Chancellor has said, with a stage platform put down on the rugby field in order to accommodate the large crowd. It was not quite 10 months since the day he had walked out of Pollsmoor prison, free after 27 years of incarceration. Professor John Reed, then the university orator as well as the Deputy Vice-Chancellor, delivered the citation, tracing the life and impact of the honorary graduate. Born in Qunu of the Tembu Royal House, he had studied at Hilltown and then Fort Hare. And we have heard about how he continued his studies and his work in Johannesburg and formed his lifelong friendships with Walter Sisulu and Oliver Tambo. And we remember and celebrate them today and all those other strong leaders who supported Mandela through those years, in and out of prison. We note that yesterday was also the anniversary of the death of Robert Sobukwe. Then came 1963 and the Rivonia trial. Mandela's statement from the dock has become part of this country's history. I saw a banner up with some of the words from it. I don't know whether it has sustained the wind, but it's always worth remembering. The trialists were sentenced to life imprisonment, and so began the years on Robben Island. Mandela became the world's best-known political prisoner. But little was known about him by the majority of South Africans for several decades. And even after the momentous moment of his release, people didn't really know him very well. At the time of that graduation ceremony, the outcome of the CODESA negotiations was not known. But already Mandela symbolized the struggle on the part of the still disenfranchised majority. He embodied the values of non-racialism. His courage and integrity were already legendary. Professor Reed pointed out that Rolihlahla means a stirrer-up of trouble. And he added that for a university too, stirring up trouble could be the consequence of seeking the truth, wherever it might lie. He said, Mr. Mandela has had great impact in two particular areas, the law and education. In awarding him an honorary degree, this university identifies itself with the values that lie behind his struggle, the full freedom and equality of people. We are honored by his acceptance of it. UCT now has the double privilege of having him as one of our members of Convocation and as our Chancellor, Senora Graça Machel, who as Madiba's wife set aside much of her own important work to be his comfort and companion, and who has accompanied him through his final illness. In his address at the graduation ceremony, Mr. Mandela replied with tributes to UCT and its students. He referred to the struggle for academic freedom and against the imposition of university apartheid, and also noted the university's opposition to the state of emergency and the 90-day detention laws. He expressed particular gratitude to those who had raised funds for books and donated textbooks for Robben Islanders, which had been of great benefit to them and made them aware that they were not forgotten. He urged that the time had come for building peace and goodwill, saying, "We meet at a time when this land is beset by conflict. Cape Town has not been exempt from this bitter harvest of blood. But he added, peace can only be secured when there is justice. It must entail a determination to eradicate root and branch the inequalities that foster and fan the flames of conflict. He did not hesitate to add that the challenges that faced us include the universities, and said that this would require an effort at conscious self-transformation so that the university works in the interests of all South Africans. The starting point of such a process is recognition of the historic inequalities rooted in apartheid education and our racially divided society. It can no longer be enough for scholars to research and scrutinize the consequences of unjust policies. They must make an active contribution to change. He referred to admissions policies to increase access for those who have been deprived. And he concluded, we can face the future only if we act as one nation. It is remarkable that all his comments are still so relevant 23 years later. His focus on freedom and its full meaning reminds us of the title of his autobiography. What would he want us to understand by freedom now? It would surely include the generally accepted freedoms of the press, of speech and free assembly, of belief. We know from our own history that all these freedoms are universal and indivisible, and that they need to be sustained by constant vigilance. Not one of us is truly free, while there are others who suffer fear, want, hunger, or discrimination. The task of working towards a free and just society is unending and makes calls on us all. Nelson Mandela gave his life to that task. His long years in prison brought him not to a quest for his own liberty, but for the creation of a society in which these values would be those of the country as a whole, embodied in law and practiced by the people. He has bequeathed to us, all of us, this ongoing task. And now he is truly able to find peace and to fly free at last.